Today I'm going to be going over the best five board games for cat lovers. Spoiler alert, this does not include Exploding Kittens. Sorry, not sorry. What's up, Meeples? Welcome to Hero of the Meeple, where we talk board games and more. So why the top 5 cat board games for cat lovers? Well, a lot of board gamers are also cat lovers. Personally, as an avid board gamer, I'm also definitely a cat lover. They just seem to fit my lifestyle. I have 2 of them. I can tell you that when I'm on Instagram and I search that hashtag board games and I'm scrolling through, giving the likes, giving the love on all those photos, every other photo, there's a cat in the picture. And these are hashtag board games photos. Board gamers love cats, and I know not all of you love cats, but if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you probably love cats. Okay, so let's talk about the first game. This is not in any particular order. We're talking about just the 5 best board games for cat lovers, but it's up to you to decide how you rank them. First up, we have the cat game. So you see the box, very little the and game above and below the cat, which is oddly really furry. I think they want you to think they've stuffed the cat into this box, which is not really humane. The cat game, if you're a fan of games like Pictionary, this is definitely going to be a game for you. The objective of the game is to essentially reach 20 points first. And this is if you're playing in teams. So, how do you play the cat game? You're going to want to get a piece of paper, scratch paper, something to write with, or even just use your phone, but this is essentially to keep track of points. The first to 20 is going to be the winner. Next, you're going to want to get the deck of cards and shuffle them up, divide them into 2 decks and separate them so everyone can reach a card. Then you're going to make sure that each team has a writing tablet here and a dry erase marker. Then you're gonna spread all the little cat punch outs in the middle of the table so everyone can be able to grab them just as easy as everybody else. So the rules say that the hairiest player on your team is the first drawer. I'm okay with this rule personally, but it's up to you and your friends to decide who should go first. So once you've decided which player from each team is going to go first, it's their turn now to be the drawers. So first thing they're going to do is they're both going to draw one of the cat cards or category cards from the deck. On the other side of the cards here are 3 categories. So the 3 categories we have are flicks, so essentially movies, persons and professions, so people or jobs essentially, and then lastly captivities or activities. So this card here, for example, has Animal House for flicks, golfer for persons and professions, and farting for captivities. The 2 players that are going to be drawing are going to announce the categories that they've selected. They don't have to select the same category. They can both select 2 totally different categories. Once they've announced their categories, both of them are going to dive into the pile of cats to choose at least one to use with their drawings. The first team to guess their drawer's word is going to be awarded 2 points. If the second team is also able to guess their word, they will be awarded 1 point. Teams will go back and forth, choosing new players in their group to be the drawers until one of the teams reaches 20 points and gets the victory. All right, let's talk about our second board game for cat lovers. Here, Kitty Kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. You cute kitty, kitty, kitty. So here's the Here, Kitty, Kitty box. You can see it's a cute little animation, people trying to call cats in their yards, and there's actually a transparent window here that lets you see some of the game pieces work, which are essentially 40 different colored cats. In here, Kitty Kitty, you are essentially playing as a household that is in a neighborhood that's having a cat issue, but the people here don't seem to mind because everybody wants to attract those cats into their own house. The winner is the player that ends up having the most points in the end, and you score points by attracting cats into your house. So in here, Kitty Kitty, it comes with 6 different household setups. This game is for 3 to 6 players. There is no difference between the 6 households except for aesthetics. So you can see here, for example, this one is like your college dorm type of house, where this one here is a lot more swanky. Cats come in 4 different colors: gray kitties, orange kitties, black kitties, and little white kitties. Essentially, the different combination of cats is going to get you different points. Next up, you're going to want to hand out each player their specified number of Here Kitty Kitty cards. Check out the rules to see how many cards each player should get for the amount of players you're playing. Also, make sure to pay attention to the rules. There are some cards you want to remove first before shuffling the deck, and then add back in after you've handed out cards to each player. During your turn, you can do 2 actions. Of your 2 actions, you can move a cat, play a card, or discard up to 3 cards. When the last Here Kitty Kitty card has been drawn from the deck, that's going to trigger the last round of the game. Each player, including the one who drew the card, has 1 more turn. Afterward, it's time to tally up points. The player with the most points is going to be the kitty winner. Alright, moving right along, let's talk about our number 3 board game for cat lovers. Kitty Paw by Renegade Game Studios. This is a board game for 1 to 4 players. You can see here that I have the Valentine's Day edition of the Kitty Paw box, but the inside contents are exactly the same as the regular version. So for the Valentine's Day box, it has this little... Alright. So for the Valentine's Day box, you can see it has this slip off here, and it reveals a Valentine's Day card inside, which if you pull on this tab, has a cutesy bootsy I love you message. Kitty Paw is a dexterous and reaction game where players work quickly to put together different kitty blocks into a specific pattern. Players who correctly put together their patterns of kitty boxes will score points, and the player at the end of the game who has the most points is the winner. To set up Kitty Paw, every player should take one of these box cards. All of the kitty blocks are going to be put in the center of the table where all the players can reach them quickly and easily. Lastly, you'll create a deck of kitty cards, which on one side have the specific patterns that you're going to be trying to match, and on the other side has some type of negative point. So players start the round by first putting in their paw over the middle of the kitty block tiles and saying meow. Players are going to race to grab their Kitty Paw card here, which has the different patterns on it, and try to mimic that pattern faster than the other players. Once a player thinks that they have completed the pattern correctly, then they raise their paw like this and say Kitty Paw. Everybody else is supposed to basically give them a fist bump, and the round stops. The player will double check, and the other players will double check that that player correctly put together their pattern. If that player did correctly put together their pattern, then they are going to get the points that are listed on the pattern side of the card. However, if they are incorrect, then they flip that card over and they get the negative points on the back. As players progress deeper into the game, the kitty patterns are going to get progressively harder. The game ends once the Kitty Paw level cards with the patterns on the back, that deck has either run out or when one of the players has scored 5 patterns correctly. Once the game is over, players will calculate their scores based on the positive numbers of the pattern cards that they got correctly, subtracting any negative points for incorrect patterns or being the last one to give the fist bump. Kitty Paw is a super easy to learn game and also a great game for anybody who's looking for something quick. I would say that for those players who are already familiar with Kitty Paw, they've played it a few times, you may want to adjust the deck to start at a higher level, as the initial patterns can be very easy. Can we just pause for a moment? This is Hero of the Meeple's very first video. So I just want to say thank you for coming out to talk board games with us. If you're liking what you're seeing so far, please consider subscribing or sharing this video. Okay, we're making progress. Let's get to our number 4 board game for cat lovers. Cat Lady. Cat Lady is a very fun and fairly easy to learn game. The game reminds me of games like Sushi Go, where you are collecting different sets of cards that will award different sets of points. So in Cat Lady, you are playing as an elite cat lady, trying to collect as many cats as possible. There's one caveat, however. Not only are you trying to collect those cats, you need to be able to feed those cats. Players who have cats that are unfed by the end of the game are going to lose points. However, players who are able to collect the most cats, successfully feed them, and collect other various sets of cards such as cat toys, cat costumes, and catnip will rack up the most points and be the winner. First thing you're going to do is shuffle the stray cat cards here, which have stray cats on the back. There are 13 of them. You're going to shuffle those. You're going to pick 3, and those are going to be the only 3 stray cats that are available. Next up, you're going to take the game cards, shuffle them up, draw out 9, and take those 9 cards, place them face up in a 3x3 grid in the middle of the table. Throughout the game, players will take turns drawing a complete row or a complete column of the 9 face-up cat cards to bring into their hand. When a player's turn is over, they will move the cat meeple either next to a certain row or a certain column. The player who goes next won't be able to draw the cards from that row or that column that cat meeple is next to. So essentially it's a way for the player to block the next player from taking specific cards. There are 4 types of food cards: chicken, tuna, milk, and wow. Mr. Fluffy might require 2 chicken and 1 milk, where Mrs. Meow might require 1 milk and 1 tuna. At the end of the game, players will calculate their scores based on 6 different criteria. Alright Meeples, we've made it to number 5 on the list. This last entry is one of the newest board games out there and also very popular right now, and that is the Isle of Cats. The Isle of Cats is a game for 1 to 4 players by the City of Games. There is an expansion out there also to make it for 5 to 6 players. Man, do I love the Isle of Cats. It is super fun. The art is beautiful, and even though the instructions might seem somewhat complicated at first, it's actually fairly easy to learn once you start playing. So in the Isle of Cats, each player is going to get their own shipboard. It's actually double-sided, one for the standard rules, and the Isle of Cat does have family rules. The other side is for the family rules. But you'll see here that the ship has beautiful illustrations. The ship is broken down into a square grid to show you how to place your cats once you start drafting those. In addition to the shipboard, players will start off with fish tokens as well as a basket to help them rescue the cats during their turn. In the middle of the table, you'll have the Isle of Cats board, which you'll use to track the rounds as well as player turn order. Surrounding the island board, you'll lay out the different cat meeples, the fish tokens, the deck of cards, as well as treasures and the special and rare Oshak's cat tiles. So in the Isle of Cats, you've discovered this island that is filled with all these beautiful and mystical cat creatures. However, you've also learned that a dark army is approaching and will soon threaten to destroy the island itself and all the creatures that inhabit it. You will compete with the other players to lure cats onto your ship to rescue them and take them off the island. The best combination is going to get you the most points at the end. So Isle of Cats is played over 5 rounds. Players will start off with 20 fish tokens, which they'll need to draft cards as well as rescue cats. Players will draw 7 cards from the deck. This is where you get to rescue the cats. You'll take the drafting bag here, which inside is all the different cat tiles. Players will take turns drawing those cat tiles and placing them on their ship. Remember, it's going to take baskets and fish to rescue cats. After 5 rounds, the Dark Army has arrived to the island, and you and your fellow ships need to get out of there with all the cats that you've been able to befriend and get on board. Players will calculate their scores based on the cat families that they rescued, which you need to have 3 or more of one cat color next to each other to be considered a cat family, as well as any treasures, rats, lessons, and public lessons. The player with the most points at the end is going to be the winner. And that's Isle of Cats, really abbreviated. I can't wait to get more in depth on this one with you all. And that's it. Those are the best 5 board games for cat lovers. I'll make sure to put links down for all 5 of the cat board games in the description of this video. I will definitely be doing a more in-depth video on the Isle of Cats soon, but let me know down in the comments if you want me to go more in depth in any of the other 4 cat board games. So do you have any cat board games that did not make my list of the best 5? Let me know down in the comments and let's discuss, because maybe it's a game that needs me to play it. Again, thank you for joining us for our very first video here at Hero of the Meeple. If you liked what I had to say today, or if you're a cat lover, consider subscribing, because I'm sure you will see my cats again in future videos. Alright Meeples, this hero has some gaming to do. I'll see you later.